The week had been unbearable. Cold silences at the dinner table, her shoulders tense whenever I tried to talk, the faint edge of resentment in her voice when she answered the phone. I kept replaying our arguments in my head, wondering where I had gone wrong, what I had missed. And then late one night, after another day of careful attempts at conversation that ended in awkward half-smiles, I booked it. A weekend getaway. Romantic, quiet, just the two of us, an attempt to save the marriage I thought was worth saving. I told her in person, hoping for even a flicker of excitement. Her reaction stunned me. "Why bother?" she asked, brushing past me to grab her coat. Her voice was calm, almost amused, but there was a sharpness in it, like a blade hiding behind silk. "I don't think a weekend in some overpriced cabin is going to fix years of whatever this is." I froze. My chest felt tight, my hands suddenly clammy. I thought she'd be touched, maybe grateful. Instead, there was dismissal, a kind of cold distance that I had never seen before. I swallowed hard. "I just thought we could talk, maybe reconnect," I said, trying to mask the tremor in my voice. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Reconnect? Maybe you should have done that before all the little lies started piling up." Her words hit me like a punch. Lies? What lies? I had trusted her completely, given her everything I had, and suddenly I was being accused of something I didn't fully understand. The drive to the cabin was quiet. Too quiet. I tried to start small talk, pointing out the fall colors, the way the sun glinted off the lake, but every word felt forced, met with short responses and occasional sighs. When we arrived, the cabin was beautiful, cozy, romantic, exactly what I had hoped would remind her, and me, of why we had fallen in love. But even as I unpacked the bags, I felt her eyes on me, sharp and distant, like she was seeing a stranger. That night I tried to bridge the gap. I made dinner, lit candles, tried to make the atmosphere soft, inviting. I wanted laughter, warmth, maybe even a spark of what we had lost. But she kept checking her phone, her smile polite but fleeting. I noticed the way she leaned slightly away when I reached for her hand, the subtle tension in her shoulders. Suspicion started to creep in slowly. Texts on her phone, hidden when I glanced, missed calls she said were nothing important. A laugh at messages she didn't show me. I questioned myself first, maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe I was imagining things. But deep down I knew that uneasy feeling in my gut, that sense that something had shifted irreversibly. The next morning, I woke early and decided to make breakfast. She was still asleep, the soft morning light spilling across her face. I wanted to cherish this moment, hold on to it as proof that we could still be okay. But as I reached for the coffee cup, her phone lit up on the counter. I didn't mean to, but I glanced. The messages were brief but unmistakable. Flirtatious, intimate, casual in a way that made my stomach turn. She was talking to someone else. Someone I didn't know. Someone who had replaced me in the spaces I thought were ours. I felt sick. I sank into the chair, staring at the screen, feeling the betrayal like a physical weight pressing down on my chest. Memories that had once made me smile. The laughter during late-night movies, whispered conversations in the dark, small acts of love that I had treasured, now felt like lies. Every tender moment tainted. When she finally came into the kitchen, I tried to keep my voice steady. "Who's this?" I asked, placing the phone between us. Her eyes flicked to the screen, then away. She didn't deny it. She didn't defend it. She just said, softly, almost mournfully, I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't want to hurt you." I wanted to scream. I wanted to rage, to collapse into tears, to beg for answers. Instead, I sat there in stunned silence, listening to her explain. Her guilt, her justifications, her confusion, her reasons that didn't make sense to me. I realized then that there were two perspectives here, two sets of emotions. Her guilt was real, I could see it, but it didn't erase the pain she had caused. She saw this as an accident, a mistake in judgment, but for me it was a rupture, a fracture in the foundation of everything I had believed about us. The weekend ended not with romance but with a quiet drive home. We didn't speak much. I stared out the window, trying to make sense of the life we had shared, and the life that had been slipping away beneath my feet. I knew then that love wasn't always enough. Trust, once broken, cannot always be repaired by gestures, no matter how grand. In the weeks that followed, I grappled with grief, anger, and confusion. I went over every conversation, every small inconsistency, every subtle moment I had ignored. I struggled between lingering love and the recognition that love could not exist where deceit had taken root. Eventually, I made a decision. Not out of revenge, not out of spite, but out of respect for myself. I could not continue in a marriage where honesty and fidelity had been discarded. I confronted her one last time, not to argue, not to plead, but to set boundaries, to reclaim my dignity. She cried. I cried. But I held steady. I left with a quiet strength, carrying with me the lessons of heartbreak, betrayal, and resilience. I learned that some loves are not meant to survive, no matter how much we wish they would. And I learned that surviving doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning, growing, and reclaiming yourself piece by piece. I still remember that weekend getaway, not for the candles, the cabin, or the romantic dinners, but for the moment I realized what love really requires: honesty, trust, and mutual respect. Without them, even the most beautiful gesture cannot mend what has been broken. And so I move forward, not bitter, not broken, but wiser, stronger, and more certain of the life I deserve. A life where gestures matter because they are accompanied by truth, not because they are desperate attempts to patch what has been shattered.